amiable Andy ties show together with Knott's Andy. Griffith is one top banana who isn't afraid of slipping from stardom. He peels off the best lines from the script and tosses them to his second banana, Don Knotts. I feel, Griffith says with a shade less southern accent than he uses on TV, that what is good for the Andy Griffith Show is good for Andy Griffith. We have a half-hour program, Griffith says of his CBS show. There isn't room for two comedians. We'd only step on each other's lines. Don has worked out so well as the laugh-getter that it's best to keep it that way. Why tamper with success? Griffith, who first attracted show business fame with a best-selling comedy record about football, is happy Tobe virtually a straight man for Knotts. Griffith, a highly competent actor, can be funny. Knotts, who achieved national prominence as the nervous man in the street on Steve Allen's old NBC, is funny. He looks funny. He talks funny. He really doesn't have to act funny. Knotts can get more laughs with his nervous cough than most comedians get with a stable of gag writers. The show's format, as millions of his TV fans know, calls for Griffith to portray a rube sheriff of an imaginary southern town, Mayberry. Knotts is his well-intentioned but fumbling deputy. He is apt to have his badge stolen before the second commercial, but Knotts generally manages to gain heroic heights by the time the sponsor has had the last word. Griffith, who portrays a widower, with no plans for marriage but with a 7-year-old son. Opie doubts that Andy Griffith nominating performance as a megalomaniac in the movie. A face in the crowd, and Knotts had TV experience in some of its finest dramas before meeting Griffith on the Broadway stage in No Time for Sergeants. The hilarious play, later made into a movie, about a Georgia hillbilly and his misadventures in the army firmly established Griffith as a star and Knotts as a featured performer. That kind of billing has had uniform success for them. First in GI garb and now as Mayberry's finest and only law enforcement officers, Opie's role ever will be expanded. Ronnie does a nice job, but we don't want to shift the focus of the storyline, which tells of the human and comic adventures of a sheriff and his deputy. Ronnie is Ronnie Howard, the Opie of the series. Frances Bavier, seen as Griffith's Aunt B, also is featured.